So this lesson is kind of the same as yesterday. It's where we're finding a pattern, but now we're going to be finding that pattern looking at tables. So a lot of this will require sort of making those tables first, setting that up, making that grid. So if I have a problem here, it says there are 3 leaflets on 1 clover leaf. There are 9 leaflets on 3 clover leaves. There are 12 leaflets on 4 clover leaves. How many leaflets are there on 2 clover leaves? On 5 clover leaves? When you see the question kind of like that, when it says on 2 question mark and then it says on 5, that means you have to answer both of them. Now, you're not going to really see too many that are just like this. They're going to come with a picture as well. So to make this picture, or really this table, we make a T-chart in a sense. I don't feel like writing a whole bunch. If I can look at the table off to the side in my book, it says number of clover leaves on one side and number of leaflets on the other side. Guess what I'm going to put? In my day, this was not a hashtag. It's number. It stands for number. So I'm going to put number C for number of clover leaves. And then I'm going to draw a line to separate. And then on the other side, I'm going to put number of leaves or leaflets. So it's not hashtag C, hashtag L. It's the number of clovers and the number of leaflets. So I'm going to copy down what I see in this table off to the side here. Right there in your book. So on one side, there's a 1. And on the other side, there's a 3. On one side, there's a 2. And then it's blank. On one side, it's a 3. And then it's 9. On one side, it's a 4. And then it's 12. On one side, it's 5. And then there's another blank. So I'm going to box it out to make a nice, pretty little table. You can even go in and separate if you want. I usually like to just because it makes it easier for me to see what's going on. And then I just got to figure out what I need to do to fill in those other sides. The number one thing we always go for first is if we see a 1. Because if we see a 1 on the main side, that's going to give it away right there. Because that means 1 equals 3, which means that the rule is times 3. If I've got a 1 and it becomes 3, then I know right then and there that's my rule. So I never just go full force once I figure that out. I always test it. Is 3 times 3 9? Yes. Is 4 times 3 12? Yes. Okay, so then I was correct in thinking that my rule was times 3. So now I can finish it. What's 2 times 3?
6.
And what's 5 times 3?
15.
15. So the tables can be really helpful, and it's really no different than just looking at a number line of the rules. So let's practice some more. Let's look at number 1. So number 1 here, it says copy and complete each table. On one side, it says number of boxes. On the other side, it says total number of hats. So number of B, number H, number of hats. So number of boxes, number of hats. I've got a 2 on one side. I've got a 6 on the other. I've got 5 boxes and 15 hats. I've got 7 boxes and 21 hats. I've got blank boxes and 27 hats. Now that I know my table is done, I can box it out, make it look all nice, get it all organized. And now I've got to figure out what is my rule here. I don't have a 1 to help me out, but I do have that 2. And all I have to go is, well, how did the 2 become a 6? Times 3. Check it out. Is it going to work for the next bits? Don't just start going for it. Is 5 times 3 15?
Yeah.
Is 7 times 3 21?
Yeah.
So my rule is times 3 again. But I don't have the main number. So in actuality, I have to do what's 27 divided by 3. 9. So let's look at number 2. Number 2 is a long table. It's kind of going off to the side instead of up and down. Number of cars, number of wheels. Okay, so I'm going to put number of cars, number of wheels, and then I'm going to separate them. There are 2 number of cars and there are 8 wheels. There are 3 cars with 12 wheels. There are 5 cars with 20 wheels. There are 9 cars with how many wheels? So now I've got my table set up and I have to go from there. Again, I'm going to start at my 2. How did 2 become an 8? Okay, let's check it to be sure. If 2 times 4 is 8, is 3 times 4 12?
Yes.
Is 5 times 4 20?
Yes.
So my rule is times 4. What's 9 times 4? 36. 36. So it's not so bad. It's just, it kind of takes a lot of drawing. And unfortunately, you do need to draw these out if they're not on paper for you to fill in yourself. On your homework, where you're literally just filling them in, you don't have to redraw it. You can write on it. It's there. But if you're just doing it out of your book, you can't just say, oh, okay, so number 2 is 36. Because if you are, and you should be, whenever you're using this booklet to help you review for your test, if you come back to this page and all you see is number 1 times 3, 9. Number 2 times 4, 36. That's not going to help you. You probably won't even remember what you did. You'd have to go back and watch this video to figure it out. So you do need to take the time. And also this is good practice just to set this up because it does help you stay organized. So let's look at one more together. Let's do number 5 and we're going to copy it together. So number 5. Number of spiders, number of legs. Automatically, I should know what my rule is just by my scientific knowledge. So, number of spiders on one side, number of legs on the other. I like to give 2 boxes per each number, just to be sure, because sometimes they go double digits and I don't like to squish them. So, 1 spider has 8 legs. 2 spiders have blank legs. 3 spiders have 24 legs. Remember, I'm copying it down first and then I'll go back and solve. 4 spiders have 32 legs and blank spiders have 56. Do not automatically assume that this last number will be a 5. A lot of times they will do this on purpose. They will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they'll be like 9. But they don't give you that 9 because they want you to just go, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you put in a 5. And then you've gotten it wrong because you rush and you don't fully pay attention to what you're doing. You just kind of go into robot mode. We're like, we're counting, let's go. So you've got to make sure that you're staying focused on that. That's why we don't fill it in. That's why we just copy it down first and then. So now automatically I know what my rule is. I've got a 1, it became an 8. That means my rule is times 8. 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 8 is?
16.
Okay. Is 5 times 8 56?
No.
No. So that's why I'm not just rushing to fill it in. Really, I have to go backwards. What's 56 divided by 8? 7. I guarantee you, if they ever give you 1, 2, 3, 4 blank, it 90% of the time it will not be 5. Okay, it will not, they will purposely put it out of order so that they can catch you going too fast. And I appreciate that, because if that does happen, then you've learned your lesson. Slow down. Okay, so it's really not that bad. It's just some drawing. It's setting it up, but it's still the same concept as yesterday's lesson with 2-2. It's still looking at those patterns. Sound good? Yeah. Okay. We're gonna move on then. This is